Hi there, this is David and welcome to my impressions of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins demo, released for the PlayStation 4 and 5. When I first heard this announcement months ago, I was stoked about it, because the original Final Fantasy on the NES was my first game in the franchise, and I must have played it like a million times with all sorts of different party configurations, and I pored over the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide. It was definitely a game that made me. So whenever I heard that this was going to be a modern-day retelling of the original Final Fantasy, I was through the roof. That is, until I saw trailers of it, which did temper my expectations quite a bit. Then, whenever I saw that they were turning it into an action RPG, and a Souls-like at that, I was crestfallen. However, the nostalgia goggles are real, and I was still pretty excited, so I went into this demo with some high hopes. Let me first say that I am not a Souls player. I don't like the subgenre, and I'm not really a fan of hard games in general either. If I'm going to play an action RPG, I want something soft, sweet, and delightful, like Secret of Mana. Not something cold, dark, gory, bloody, and gritty. I mean, there's enough death and destruction in the real world, I don't need it in my video games too. Thankfully, it's not entirely Souls-like, as you are given a difficulty mode selector so you can tailor the experience to your liking. You begin by fighting Tiamat with no tutorial whatsoever. You're just kind of thrown to the wolves, and in the amount of time that it took me to actually figure out how to attack, I probably would have been slaughtered on hard mode. It's only after that battle that you get your actual tutorial, along with My Way by Frank Sinatra for some ungodly reason. After the far too long tutorial, you're sent to Canaria, where you and two other warriors of light arrive, each holding an orb. Where's the fourth warrior? Well, get ready for this game to take your nostalgia goggles and crush them under its heel, because every time you think that you're going to get a reference to Final Fantasy I, the game turns it on its head. In the original, you could explore the castle and the town, buy weapons and armor, as well as magic spells. Then, you're set loose to explore the lush world map. Not here, though. There's no money system to be had at all. No buying and selling of any sort. Not even items. You can't explore the towns either. Instead, you can just click on an NPC's name to hear them whine about something of no importance. And then, in the most egregious, lazy move ever, there's not even a world map. It's just a point-and-click interface. My disappointment was palpable. During the demo, you can explore three main dungeons: the Temple of Fiends, the Caves of Provoca, and Astos' Castle, in that order. And your crew consists of a fighter, monk, and a thief. You go through the dungeons, slaughtering enemies and picking up equipment off the ground. It felt really similar to Diablo in that regard. As you gain more unique equipment, more jobs will open up to you, such as the Mage and the Lancer, and you can switch between your jobs during combat. It's really fast and fluid, and actually kind of fun. Upgrading jobs is pretty fun too. As you use a job, your proficiency will go up, and then you can master a skill tree to gain more advanced jobs. For example, mastering the Mage job will give you the Black Mage, Red Mage, and White Mage. And one of the coolest things though was the Blue Magic system, where you can absorb enemy spells and send them flying right back to them. Unfortunately though, exploring these dungeons wasn't all that much fun because there's no mini-map to help guide you. I was getting turned around a million times, especially in the more complex dungeons of Provoca and the Western Keep. There's tons of smaller corridors to turn into, and I just kept on getting turned around, which was frustrating to say the least. After you defeat Garland at the Temple of Fiends, the first slap in the face comes, because it turns out that Garland isn't really Garland. She's a young girl named Neon who just happens to be the fourth warrior of light. But our hero, Jack, doesn't really care, and instead decides to pop in his Bluetooth and listen to some heavy metal rock as he leaves the temple. It's so odd. Back at Canaria, the king sends you off to Provoca, with no mention of the bridge being repaired or Princess Sarah giving you the loot. And the NPCs have nothing to say about it either. They're just continually bleeding on about killing Chaos. After the nostalgic bridge scene, you click on Provoca, see that it's a total shithole, and then be assaulted by some brat who throws a rock in your face. And it's here that you're slapped across the face again! Because even though Neon joins your party as the 4th Warrior of Light, you still can't have her in your party. For whatever stupid, lazy reason, Square only made it so that 3 people can fight at once, and 1 person has to be left behind. So you do get 4 party members, but only 3 can be used in battle. That makes no sense to me, and it's just 100% complete laziness on their part to not program in a 4th party member to fight alongside you. As I continued playing, it just seemed like I was going 1 step forward and 2 steps back. For example, I really enjoyed exploring the caves at Provoca. It was absolutely beautiful and relatively linear, with some branching paths, so the lack of the minimap wasn't the biggest deal, and it was fun to explore and find my way to Bike's ship. However, upon defeating him, you don't get the open world that you got in the original game. You aren't allowed to go to the Dwarven Mines, or Elfland, or the Marsh Cave. Instead, you're sent straight to Astos' castle with no mention at all of the prince's sleeping sickness. There isn't even a cutscene showing them on the boat or anything. It's just, here you go. And as Bike drops you off, it's just so disappointing because I just really wanted to sail the high seas. Then, in stark contrast to the Provoca Caverns, the Western Keep's kinda ugly, clinical, and as usual, I found myself running in circles, continually getting lost and backtracking because of no mini-map. I just had no idea where I was supposed to go, especially once I got out on the rooftops. This place was just the worst. There's a turret firing at you, and as you're trying to figure out where to go or what to do, you get knocked back by the cannon fire, constantly. I was frustrated beyond belief as I got knocked off ladders and knocked off rooftops while fruitlessly trying to find my destination. Just whenever you think you're going to have some fun, bullshit like this rears its ugly head. The graphics are serviceable, and lots been said about the textures and the screen tearing, but again, graphics don't really bother me. It's not something that I focus on. I grew up on the NES and the Game Boy, so this looks good to me. So I guess the real question is this: am I actually going to buy it? Probably, yeah, but not for a while, and definitely not at full price. I'll wait till it goes down to about $20, because the only reason why I'll be playing it is for those nostalgia purposes, not for its gameplay or combat. So, how did you feel about the game? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and wanted to hear on the channel, please consider heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, checking out Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, or coming on over to Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.